for joining me again today. We are back in my mobile home kitchen, and today we are making peach muffins. I'm so excited. This is a great breakfast treat, but you can also have this as a dessert, but we enjoy this as a nice treat for breakfast. And this doesn't require too many peaches. I know peaches aren't the cheapest produce to buy, but this recipe you can actually use just one peach or two, but you can use as little as one peaches for this recipe. So let's get started and see how this recipe goes. Now again, this isn't necessarily my recipe. I will have the link below in the description where you can go to the blog where this recipe is. That way you can also look at it, look at the ingredient list, and see what all you need to do. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we have the oven preheating to 350. And also, I have just coated my muffin tray with cooking spray, and you want to really make sure the sides are really coated because I don't have any muffin liners. But I've done this before, and as long as you get it really good with cooking spray, then they come out really easily and they don't make a mess. But even if they are messy, as long as it's a tasty mess, I don't mind. That's what I always say. As long as it tastes good, I don't mind too much. So the first thing we're going to do, you want a large size mixing bowl, and we're going to add 1 1/4 cups of flour. And this is just all-purpose flour. This is 1 cup, and then 1/4 cup. So again, that's 1 1/4 cups of flour. And then we're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is half a teaspoon here, so I'm going to put 3 of these in here. And then to that we're going to add half a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to add 2/3 a cup of white sugar, just granulated sugar. Alright, and then for this mixture, we are just going to whisk everything together. Whisk in here. Make sure that's all good and stirred up. The whisk also just gives it a good texture, so that's why we're going to whisk everything. Y'all, we just came back from an apple festival today. Oh, it was so much fun. It's this big event. It just goes on for so long, and it's a lot of vendors, and not just apples, but a ton of other really good food, and a lot of cute things at vendor stands you can buy, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and I love apples anyway, so we got us some like apple turnovers, apple pie. We got apple cider slushies, so see, we've had a lot of sugar today, so I'm not going to eat this tonight. I've had enough sugar for today, but this will be a good breakfast treat. Okay, now that we've got everything whisked together pretty good, we're going to add 1 cup of peaches. And usually it just takes like 1 peach to make 1 cup, so not much at all. And then we're going to not use the whisk for this. We want a rubber spatula for this part. We're just going to pretty much coat the peaches in this mixture and make sure they're good and coated. Just want to kind of toss it around. Okay, so now to this mixture we are going to add 1/2 cup of milk. And we're going to add 1/4 a cup of vegetable oil. we are going to add 1 egg. Okay, and then lastly, to this mixture, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, now we're going to stir this together again, again with a rubber spatula, and that'll get everything just mixed together really good. Just going to stir this for a good little while now. You can tell this isn't a professional baking show, you guys. I'm in very casual clothes. My hair is all casual. I have my dishwasher running. I think it's on drying right now. This is real life. This is real cooking in a real kitchen, in my mobile home kitchen. So, yeah, it's all casual. I think this will be the last peach recipe I make for a little while. I think they're out of season now. But like I said in my previous video, if you want to make these recipes and peaches are not in season at the time, you can always do canned peaches or peaches that are frozen in a bag. Those are still pretty good too. Like I think even this recipe on the blog, it even says like canned peaches. So those are still pretty good too. Okay, I think that's good and mixed, maybe just a little more. Looks good. You just want it to look, you know, like a batter. That looks good. All right, so now we're going to pour this batter into the muffin tray. You just want to evenly spread it into the tray. Those chunks of peaches, that looks so good, y'all. But do y'all ever get the weirdest videos recommended to you on YouTube, but then you click on it and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually love this? I randomly was recommended a video on YouTube the other day that was about a musical. I guess because YouTube knows that I like musicals. I'm a musical theater fan. And I was recommended this video to this musical called Elizabeth. And it's Elizabeth with an S, not a Z. And you guys, I'm obsessed now. I was recommended this one random video about it. And now I've done so much research on this show. I'm obsessed with it now. I can't stop watching videos about it now. If you like musical theater like I do, I highly recommend checking out that show, y'all. Again, it's Elizabeth with an S, and it's this huge show that's pretty much everywhere except English-speaking countries. It was originally a German show, and it's been adapted to a lot of different countries. It even has a Japanese production of it. And like the Japanese added their own songs to the show too, and they're beautiful songs too. It's like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it and I love it. So anyways, that's what I'm into right now. Comment below if any of y'all are into musical theater, or what are your interests? What are y'all into right now? What are y'all watching? Do y'all watch a lot of YouTube like I do? I watch all kinds of random. I watch all kinds of random things on YouTube. Probably should have done this with a spoon instead of my spout. I'm kind of making a mess, but like I said, as long as it tastes good, I don't mind a mess. Does not bother me. But I probably should have done a spoon. I think I did a spoon last time. I don't know why I decided to do a spout today, but I wanted to show off my bowl. This is another one of those Disney bowls that I told y'all about last time that I got. And it has a nice spout, it has mini on the side, and it even has like these nice grips on the bottom that keeps it from like sliding around as you're like mixing and stirring. But yeah, probably shouldn't have done the spout and making a huge mess, but it's okay, it's okay. Now this is where we're going to, if you have more peaches and if you just want to, we're gonna add even more peaches, and then we're gonna put a topping on. We're gonna make a topping in a second. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna have a ton of peaches. But again, last time I made this, I didn't have this many. I only had like one peach left. So if you only want to get one peach or only have one peach, it's still fine. You don't have to do these extra peaches on top. You can just have the peaches in the mixture, and that only took one peach to make that. There's surprisingly not a ton of peach recipes that I could find. Most peach recipes were either like super complicated with way too complicated ingredients, or it was like drink stuff. I couldn't find a ton of food recipes for peaches, and this was one of the few that I found, and it's great. It turned out great for me the last time I made it, and now this is one of my favorite recipes. Okay, so that's done. Now we are just gonna make the topping. So for this topping, we are going to put 1/4 a cup of all-purpose flour again. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Again, that's just granulated sugar. And then to this, we're also going to add another 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I love that cinnamon. I can't get enough of cinnamon. It just smells so good. Okay, and then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, and you want to chop them into cubed pieces. Okay, so for this mixture, we are just going to kind of crush down the cubed butter with a fork. And just kind of mix everything together with that same fork. And then, of course, my hands are washed. You do want to wash your hands. We're going to kind of mix the butter in with your hands. You just kind of play with it until it kind of is like crumbly. Just really want to get that butter into everything good. this is like a fun recipe. I like digging my hands into it. You know, as long as you thoroughly wash your hands. I've always heard, don't be afraid of your food. You want to have fun with it, play with it. Be like a kid when you cook. You know how kids love to cook or pretend to cook. That's how you want to be when you cook. You want it to be fun. Yeah, it's starting to look perfect. You're just kind of playing with it like a dough. You're just like moving it around, wrapping it up, folding and flipping. You're just really playing with it. Just to get that butter really mixed in. Okay, that looks good, y'all. So you want it to kind of look like that. And now we're just going to put this on top here. Okay, we're just going to try to evenly spread it on top of all of these. It doesn't have to cover the whole thing. It's just going to be a nice mixture to go on top. It doesn't have to fully cover the whole thing. It's just going to be a nice cinnamon and butter taste to go on top of it. My friends always tease me because I just never know what I'm going to be into from one day to the other. I have always been into musical theater, but I'm always into something weird, that's weird to the norm. There was a period in time where I was into a Shakespeare kick. I was like watching all kinds of Shakespeare stuff. And then I've always been into anime. I love anime. So yeah, I'm always into weird stuff into that. Are y'all into anything weird, like, or that's weird to the norm? Which, you know, these days and times, weird stuff like that is normal now. When I was growing up, I was like, because I was always into like old movies and musicals, so, but now you're like cool if you're into those things, so, and I love it. I love that that's like cool now. What's an anime I recently watched? Oh, Beasters on Netflix. Y'all, that is an awesome anime. If you have never watched anime, that would not be a bad one to be your first anime to watch, I think. It's so good. But if you are into anime, I also just highly recommend it too, to just watch that. It's such a good one. It's on Netflix. It only has 2 seasons. They just released their 2nd season. I don't know if they're going to make any more, but I mean, I'd like if they made more, but it's also just good the way it is too. Yeah, if they don't make any more seasons, but it's really, really good. Okay, y'all. Looks good. We're gonna throw it in the oven. Let me rinse off my hands and we'll throw this thing in there. Okay, guys. So the recipe again says to, excuse me, y'all, to have this in there for 20 minutes or until golden brown. But like I said in my last video, I always set my timer for like 3 minutes before. So this has 20 minutes. I'm setting it for 17, and then I'll check it and see if it needs more time than that. So yeah, let's throw this thing in here. Okay, and we're gonna set it for 17 minutes and see how they look. Okay, you guys, they look amazing. Now, I had to leave them in a good bit longer because I only had the 6 muffin tray. And their recipe is like the 12 muffins. So anyways, mine is like bigger muffins. So you just have to eye it and just leave it in there until it looks good to you. But all the brown on top is that cinnamon batter I made that's on top. So it's not burnt, that's the dark cinnamon mixture, and it smells amazing, y'all. And there's the beautiful peaches. It looks so good, and we're gonna have this for breakfast. So yeah, it'll be an awesome treat. So thank you guys for watching.